So this is July 14th, and they've got a picture of Mitch McConnell with the proof of life, which is a picture of him in a bed. But of course, they haven't had him any voice recording of him as of this point. He hasn't been able to like come in front of cameras and say something in a couple of sentences. So the big thing is there's a conspiracy theory. And the thing with conspiracy theories is that they're theories until they're disproven. And it's a scientific method. It's an interesting hypothesis. You don't have to go crazy about it. An interesting hypothesis. Test it and prove it. So is this guy alive or not? Or is it AI? And of course we're going to think AI because of all the times we've been fooled ourselves with AI and all the, do you think a politician's going to pull a dirty trick and keep a secret, some kind of scandalous secret? Of course. That happens, I guess, all the time, which is why Trump can get traction on his notion that all elections are crooked, because it's happened in the past. Yeah, I mean, that's the half-truth that gets Trump across the line, is that, but as I've been saying before, every truth is a half-truth. Every truth has a dark other side of the coin that you can look at it, and depending on your perspective, you can torture a type of truth out of it that might be applicable, that you can put into words, and words themselves are pretenses of reality. The difference is, as Otto Rank would say, truth and reality. There's lots of different truths. It's based on perspective. It's based on the human consciousness, which is everything depends on spin. Everything depends on the point of view, and that's, echoed. There's an exact type of parallel correspondence with physics, with modern physics, that, as Einstein would tell us, reality is relative. It depends on where you stand, and as religions and faith systems, Buddhists, Taoists, thousands of years. We don't need science to tell this stuff. Everything is interpretation. We've got hundreds of years ago. There's a whole line of philosophers will tell you it depends on your perspective. What is real is what is real to you. So let's talk about old age. At 76, I'm thankful that I've gotten this old, because it's only the past 5 years that I figured out some stuff that I more or less think is worth sharing to the rest of the world. Prior to that, when you're young, you think you know everything, and part of the things about getting old is that you don't know everything. And one of the great wisdoms that I've sort of involved, at least I tell myself, about getting old, is I finally understand Socrates, where he says, what I understand is that I don't understand. And which is, you don't know how much you don't know. And that pretty much everything, you think you got the truth? Yeah, wait a second, because there's lots of different applications to it. And the best you can do, as Heisenberg would say, and the great physicists would say, is percentages. Is, just how true is it going to be? It's not that some absolute truth. It's a little bit of what I had the problem with a lot of religion, a lot of approaches to religion, and a little bit of resistance that I had to this AA notion of my higher power, the higher power as I see it to be. And I noticed that they don't put it in human terms, because my beef was, well, as with all these other cynical liberals, which is, oh God, he looks just like us. Of course he looks like just like us. Just like art uses a vehicle so you can make certain elusive truths accessible, you have to tell a play, and you have to people it with human beings that we can relate to. So it's a costume, it's an act, it's a pretense, it's an artifice that makes us see the truth. Art is a lie that makes us see the truth. So is religion a lie, and the language in which we express it is going to be peopled with people, and of course, we're going to make a lot of mistakes, and the grievous mistakes of which lots of people are eager to tell us about. Islam is, everybody's unclean, so let's go kill them. And at its extreme, at its misperception of Islam, as is with Christian. The misperception of Christian is, oh, God's on our side, we're going to go to get to kill everybody like the Crusades, which is a total misperception. And you get other people that struggle, and of course the church puts the Catholic Church at my neck of the woods puts these people to death, that say, well, look, let's look at the real world. No, God isn't a person that's dressed up like us, that's white, that's compelling you to do stuff. That's just a mechanism that we on earth are inventing to hijack the notion of eternal values and eternal spirit, so we can, corrupt it and use it for our own purposes, as we are learning painfully these days that power is shameless in appropriating what is the best in us. That doesn't necessarily mean that the best of us, the best inside of us, our notion of our own higher power, other than it's being explained and inflicted on us by other people, isn't still eternal and isn't still alive and isn't still capable of doing right. So you've got a bunch of octogenarians, which I will shortly be. And I think, well, gee, Ginsburg was Supreme Court. She's so wonderful and a woman, great. In office too much. We're in tough shape because she hung on to power. You gotta have the power. You gotta be the boss. And this is what I was raving about before, this male notion of you gotta be the boss. One thing I skipped in the other one is, I think I mentioned it before, I know I'm meandering here a little bit, but allow me a little sidestep. But in Hoosiers, with the actor who's died, and now we're finding out all these ugly things about him too, Gene Hackman. I love him and stuff, but apparently it was weird with his family, and weird, old, weird. We get spacey, we get embarrassing. But in any case, in Hoosiers, he plays a high school basketball coach, and one of the kids is a player, and the father of the kid says, and this is what I was raving at in the other YouTube. The father of the kid says, go make a deliberate foul. Go be a man. Go ahead, come on, be a power. And the Mussolini thing. Power, you must oppose your will. And it's this stuff that my father got to give me that crap too. You gotta be tough. The ends justify the means. You gotta go out there and be a killer, just like Trump's father. Be a killer because it's killer. And mafia, man. Yeah, you don't like, you insult me, and boom, paf, I'm gonna blow the head. It's just so, and it's so cinematic because it's power and it's Mussolini. I'm gonna rule the world. And Schwarzenegger was a kid. His father was a real Nazi. Schwarzenegger had pictures of Hitler. Now, of course, this is scandalous. Oh, Hitler is... But Hitler appeals because it appeals to the little powerless boy that's gonna have power. So Gene Hackman, as the coach, tells, he says, he puts the player in. And the players just talk to his father, says, you gotta be a man, and gotta get a foul. And he makes this obvious foul. And the stadium is hushed. They can't believe the atrocities that just happened, and it's just the stinkiest, awfulest, dirtiest play, and he really injures the other guy. And the father, this son thing, you gotta be the best, just like Trump's father, Trump's you gotta be the best, you gotta use power, like military power, hard power, because it's time. No, it's full of shit. It's bullshit. Your dad tells you this stuff and it's crap. Maybe, now look, I work with a Marine, a really tough urban high school. And one of the, I had to use the bathroom. I wanted to use the adult bathroom because the kids' bathrooms are open, and I just want to use the adult bathroom. And the guy, this maintenance guy, wouldn't let me in. Now the maintenance guy, big, huge guy. And I thought he was my friend. He said, nah. He dismissed me. And I thought, geez, I felt a little guy. So here, I tell this to my friend, who's the ex-Marine. The ex-Marine goes up and he's right in this guy's face. He will not yield. This guy is Marine. just back from Iraq. He's half the size of the, and he's just defending me because he won't back down. Now, it's the same spirit as the cop that you think, well, and then cops, we beat up on cops a lot of these days. But you're in a tough situation and they come and they're there, some of them, and they're there and they got guts that I would never imagine having guts. And they showed up and they stand up. They stand up. There's a thing in Tom Wolfe's Bonfire of the Vanities. Talks about the Irish cop. And the Irish cop goes into one of these really ridiculous neighborhoods. And he's a white guy surrounded by these gigantic, scary crackhead murderer, and will not back down because he's the Irish cop. He will not yield. And there's that type of insistent manhood, which, in the name of defending the defenseless, is significant and is sacred. It is sacred and therefore it requires the highest notions, and it's tough, it's difficult. You live a life that you're taking, this is why, I've got this other side to cop stuff. I know cops have killed wrongly. There are murder cops. There are murderers in any population. It is a very selective role. It's what we expect of our public representatives, politics, cops, is so profound, and it gets into the religious area. It involves trust. It involves goodwill. That's why we got to be so scrupulous about it. We got to protect it as though it were a religion, without it making the mistakes of religion, which is to give this type of notion of power a simplistic, cinematic portrayal. So we've got old people that cling to power, and it's screwing us up. We've got Biden that screwed us up. Ginsburg screwed us up. Trump is obviously screwing us up. And McConnell's screwing us up. And excellent discussion these days. I'm going to forget the guy's name. I'm sorry, not to credit him. But he's one of my, Scott Galloway, and Karen Schwisser just had a discussion of old age. Excellent. If you can get it today, do that. That's all. I'm going on too long, but that's. I got to do these stream of consciousness because I'm going to kick soon, or I might start being, totally demented. And that's why I'm kind of eager to get these things down on tape and spontaneous. I don't want to, just for the sake of genuineness, I want to put it in just. This is stream of consciousness. This is one take stuff. I'm not going to edit this up, so pretty it up and so forth, because nobody's watching this anyway.